The markings on the stitch plate will help for you when you're following seam allowances. They're marked from 3/8 to 5/8. Back here, they're in metric millimeters, 10, 15. One thing I often follow is even the 1/4 inch mark. Now, it's pretty small because it sits right in the front of the feed dog opening here, but I have been known that when I'm piecing to follow it and to get a scant 1/4 inch, having the fabric go right up against that line. If I can see the line, I am just a hair's breadth in, and that will give me nice accurate points for triangles, and when I'm pressing open my seams, it really works for me. Another thing you have is lines back here. You have a line, the first one closest to you will be exactly where the needle is going to go into the fabric. So that's lined up with the opening underneath. You also have a line that's a little bit behind it. So if you find yourself pushing your fabric to the second line, you are guaranteed to have the needle starting in the fabric. And then you could always do a couple stitches forward, touch the reverse button, and go back. When you're putting buttonholes on a project, usually they want you to start 5/8 of an inch in, and you can go ahead and use the line on the back part of the throat plate, and then go ahead and push that all the way down in there, and you'd have a perfect starting point every time you start stitching. One thing you want to kind of be careful of is for any reason that you get some marks or nicks within the area here. Sometimes when you break a needle, it's because you've pulled the fabric and then the needle deflects and actually hits the throat plate, and you get some nicks along here. If you do, what you can easily take a very light piece of emery board and buff those out, or have your dealer do that for you. If you get too many marks, you're going to find that your stitches might not form as smoothly as they should, maybe breaking the threads because they're getting snagged along the rough part of your machine. So your throat plate is wonderful. Use the markings anytime you can, and follow the seam allowances on any of the projects that you start. They should have that as one of the first things at the top of the project, which line and which seam allowance is set up for the entire project.